Hi, Joe.
James.
How are you feeling coming into this test? Confidence must be sky high after that win at Headingley.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a brilliant performance. It's a nice template for us to work from. Really, it's a challenge now is to go one better. I think from a bowling perspective, I thought we were pretty much flawless. We hit the right lengths early on, and then managed to do that for long periods of time throughout the whole game. And with bat in hand, I think we've grown throughout the series, and certainly that was our best display till now. So hopefully that we can go go again and see further improvement in that department as well.
Do you feel like the momentum of this series has shifted in your favour in boxing terms? Do you feel like you have India against the ropes?
I think more than anything, we're very pleased with how we've grown into the series, and it doesn't grant you anything to the back end of it. I think with the game we've worked extremely hard to get to 1-1 in the series now, back to level pegging, and now's where the hard work really starts. So we've almost got to look to go even further, dig a little bit deeper, and really start to almost go through the gears as the series goes on, and keep getting better, keep looking for further improvement along the way.
Do you expect a backlash, a response from India?
Absolutely. World-class side like India, led by Virat, I expect nothing less than a response, and it would be naive to think otherwise. That's why I think it's really important that we don't get too comfortable. We don't think that we've achieved anything to this point. We've just sort of got ourselves back to level playing, and we have to now look to work even harder and make sure that if we find ourselves ahead of the game at any stage, we get ruthless again, and we really drive that winning position home.
And with Wood and Wokes return to fitness, how likely that they'll feature? Because obviously it would be difficult, I would guess, to change your winning team after that performance.
No, I think the great thing is that to have them both fit and available after the amount of injuries that we have is only a good thing. I think it's really important that we see how everyone pulls up over the course of the next couple of days through the practice sessions, see where everyone's at, have a look at the wicket, take everything into consideration, and then pick the best 11 players to suit the conditions. But it is fantastic to have them both fit and available, and it's it only adds strength to what's a very confident squad right now.
And Johnny Bairstow will wear the gloves. Is this a big opportunity for him to show what he can do, stake a claim for the wicket-keeping spot in the Test team going forward, or is he just keeping them warm for Jos while he has another child?
Yeah, look, I think for Johnny, we all know what he's capable of with the gloves. He's done it for a long period of his international career, and he's never let anyone down. He's been, his record is very good as a wicketkeeper for England. And I'm sure he'll be really looking forward to the challenge and the opportunity. Jos has been our number one keeper for a long time now, and I think it's made absolutely the right decision to be at the birth of his child. He's got our full support in that, and really hope everything goes well, and he's in a position to enjoy that.
Okay, last one from me. Lots been talked about and written about the aggression of this Indian team, and we saw that come to a head at Lords on the final day. What did you learn from that, and what are you learning as a captain throughout this series? You've now become England's most successful captain. How much more is there to learn from situations like that?
You'll always be learning. I think I'll certainly always look to learn and try and improve and get better as a captain. But as a team, I think one thing that we took away from that game is that we have to be the best version of our team. And we do things our way, and we don't get sucked into playing anyone else's game. We go about things in our own manner, and we did that in a perfect response at Headingley, and it's really important that we remember that throughout this series. That's when we're at our best. That's how we play our best cricket, and it's really important that that's something that we continue to do moving forward.
Thanks for your time, Joe.
Cheers, James. Thank you.
Thanks, James. We'll go to Rory Dollard and then Will Macpherson.
Thanks, Joe. On Jos, I just wonder if you could give us a real sort of clear view from your position, because some people have looked at maybe missing 2 games here, a little bit of doubt over the Ashes with Jos. He's one of those guys, and said maybe his Test career might have actually just ended on the quiet, really, and he may end up focusing on the white ball. Is that any sense that you've felt that about Jos, or do you expect him to be back and back in the team as soon as he's available to you?
Yeah, I don't say that the case at all with Jos from a personal point of view. I see someone that's desperate to perform well in the Test arena. I think he loves the Test game, and he's a big part of our team. So as far as I'm concerned, it's I hope it's a really enjoyable week for him, something that's extremely memorable. And whenever it is that he's available to play again, it'd be great to.
And in terms of Arthur Kohli, so thank you. In terms of vice captaincy, I don't know if you've identified an official vice captain in Jos's absence, or will you just lean on a couple of different people?
No, that's something that we're still in discussions about. So as soon as that's clarified, we'll obviously let you know.
And just another one from me to finish. Can you tell us how good a cricketer you think Ravichandran Ashwin is, and with the success he's had in different parts of the world and against England, whether you're surprised and/or?
I think, well, his record speaks for itself. I think he's a world-class player. We've seen him score runs and take wickets against us, and we know how what he's capable of in Test arena. We'll certainly be making sure that we're prepared for the challenges that he poses coming into this Test match, along with other combinations that they might throw at us. But ultimately, it's you can get wrapped up and you can end up playing the player. It's really important that you just play the delivery, you play the situation that you find yourself in. So whoever it is that we face up against this week, it's you play the ball, you play what's right in front of you, not the reputation. And it'd be exactly the same if it is that we come up against him.
Nice one, thanks, Joe.
Okay, let's go to Will and Paul Newman.
Hi, Joe. You've got a couple of selection debates. One of them is who should replace Jos in the 11. It's obviously Ollie Pope or Dan Lawrence in the squad. Dan has played some cricket for Essex. I think he's out now, but he's actually had a hit, whereas Ollie hasn't played for a while. How have you made a decision on that, and how do you see the balance of power, or you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Well, no, completely get your question. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think that the 2 wonderful players that offer a huge amount to English cricket, and will be looking to take that opportunity. So again, it'd be something that we consider over the coming days coming into the game. You've got Dan, as you mentioned, coming out of a first-class game, and Ollie at his home ground. So there's a number of things to consider. 2 fine players, and all to be mulled over going into the game.
The other one is the fast bowlers who've played 3 games out of 3 in the series, and have got possibly 2 more over the next 2 weeks. Have you made a decision on whether you might rest Jimmy particularly?
I think it's really important that we see where everyone's at over the next couple of days physically, and it's such a tricky balancing act at the minute. As you say, we've had to deal with so many injuries over this little period, and a number of other challenges as well. And trying to manage workloads alongside performance is in the current climate, the games coming thick and fast as they do is always going to be tricky. You come off a win like that, and the continuity of confidence and trying to replicate a similar performance, balancing that with making sure you don't blow someone out and injure someone is really tricky. So it's something that we'll have to weigh up really well and get right going into the game. And we'll certainly consider everything when it comes to that selection.
With Chris and Mark training again this afternoon, does it feel a little bit like the injury crisis, the worms turned a little bit in the fast bowling stakes?
You never want to count chickens too early, do you? I think it's really important that we we keep doing everything we can to look after our bowlers, especially in the current climate. But it's really nice to see both of them back available for selection. And Mark, obviously that sort of freak injury was a bit of a scare, but to see him back bowling again was great the other day, up near full pace, and will only get stronger going into the game. And for Wokesy, you look at the last year or so, it's been an absolute nightmare for him. Whether it be COVID that's kept him out, close contact, or a freak injury coming down the stairs. It feels like he's not played a huge amount of cricket, but when he has played, he's been as good as he ever has been. The white ball stuff that he's played this year has been exceptional, getting it to move all over the place. He was our best player last summer. So to have him back around things is great, and it can only put us in a really strong position coming into this game and the back end of this series.
Okay,
Cheers, Will.
Cheers, Will. We'll move on to Paul Newman, then John Etheridge, and then Nick Holt from the UK, and then we'll move on to India after that. Go ahead, Paul.
Hi, Joe. After the win the other day, Michael Vaughan said you won't be considered a truly great captain until you've won the Ashes. Do you think that's right?
Well, I think as an England captain, you're always judged slightly on how you do in Ashes cricket. I think more than anything is I need to make sure that we try and win this series first. It's a huge series for us, and then we'll turn our attentions to Australia, something that we've been planning for a long time, and it's certainly something that everyone wants to do, is to go to Australia and win, whether you're a captain or as a player. It's something that you're desperate to have as part of your in your career, something to experience. So in terms of what other people think of me as a captain, it's sort of irrelevant. My job is to do the best I possibly can for the period I have in the role, and that will never change. I'll give everything to the team, everything to the squad of players, and if at the end of it that's not good enough for some people, well, I'll have done everything I can, and I can be proud of that.
And on that, you say you have done so much planning for the Ashes, but it was reported last week that up to 10 players still have serious concerns about the hard quarantine in Australia after a meeting you had last week. Is that right? And do you worry that you might have one hand tied behind your back when you go to Australia?
There are conversations that we'll have with the ECB. I think one thing that we're waiting on is a little bit more information, and until we get that from Cricket Australia and from their government, then we just have to first and foremost, we have to concentrate on this series and make sure that doesn't become a distraction. I think it's really important that we keep talking about it as a squad and as a team and working closely with the ECB. But there's still a lot to consider, and we'll keep trying to do everything we can to keep good communication through the right channels.
It clearly is something that's, you could do without, really, isn't it? Having that in the back of your mind. It's hard not to go to Australia at the best of times. Yeah,
there's a few things you could do without right now. But, that's part and parcel of things and how they are at the moment. And you have to just take it in your stride as a team. And I think sometimes things like this can really bring you closer as a group and can create a strong bond. And hopefully we can manage that in the right way and use it to an advantage.
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.
Because time's against us a little bit here, so we're going to go one question each, if that's all right, from John and Nick, and then we'll take 3 from India at the end. So please respect that. We'll go ahead with John now, please.
Okay. Are you expecting to have Jos back at Old Trafford?
That's a conversation we'll have close to time. I think really important that we respect his to be able to be at that berth is really special, and hopefully everything goes well, and then off the back of it we'll be able to have a conversation and we'll see. But it's a very exciting time for him. Hopefully it's very special.
Can I just ask, Johnny, you always get the impression that Johnny really wants to keep cricket. He's done it on and off for several years, but is that his real favoured position in the team, behind the sticks?
I think Johnny just wants to be as influential in the game as he can, and that's a great trait to have in international cricket. And high level cricket to put yourself in those positions and to want to take that responsibility on is what you want from senior players within the group. And I don't think Johnny will ever shy away from that challenge. So it's really good that he has that mindset, and I'm sure he will do a fantastic job. He's done it so many times and done some special things with the gloves for England in the past.
Okay.
And Nick, please.
Hi, Joe. What's pleasing you most about your batting at the moment, apart from scoring a lot of runs?
I think my decision making probably. Till now, touch wood, it's been pretty good. I feel like I've managed the innings pretty well throughout the course of this series, and that'll be the challenge again at the Oval, is to start again. And I feel like I've got a nice balance between attack and defence, and picking up length pretty well. So they'd be the things that really stand out, and hopefully I can continue that forward for the rest of this series and beyond.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to take 3 from India: Shamik, Srinjoy, and Ridian to finish. So go ahead, Shamik.
Hi, Joe. Virat Kohli hasn't scored too many in this series. I mean, he has just 1 half century so far. Obviously, you have different plans for different batsmen. You have plans for every batsman. But in his ahead of the series, any special plan for Virat? And I mean, did you notice any change in his batting via 2018? I mean, or is it just relentless pressure of line length swing that has managed to subdue him?
I think a lot of credit has to go to our bowling group. First and foremost, Virat's world class. There's no doubt in that. And I think that's where the credit has to go to our bowlers. They've been able to keep him quiet. A world class player, that to keep him as quiet as we have is an extremely good effort from the bowling group. And it's something that we're going to have to continue to do if we want to win this series. So I think we've found till now found ways of getting him out, and we've got to keep trying to find ways of building pressure on him and keeping him quiet, because he's obviously a fine player that's done tremendous things in Test cricket. So it's really important that we keep going with that, and we'll always have to keep looking at ways and plans in getting some of the best players in the world out. But hopefully that relentless pressure is something that we can contain moving forward.
Thank you.
Srinjoy and then Ridian. Go ahead, Srinjoy.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Srinjoy.
So a notable feature I noticed of Haseeb Hamid's innings was that there was hardly ever a full extension of his arms. His drives were more of a punch, and his bat was always at an angle to the pitch and hardly perpendicular to it. Excuse me. Whereas during India's innings, players nicked off trying to go for full flowing drives or hanging their bat outside the off stump. I mean, is that something you'd say is the key to succeeding in England, and the failure of which brought about India's downfall?
I'd say that everyone has their own styles and ways of batting, and I think that's the art of cricket, is just knowing when to play what, and having a really good understanding of the situation that you find yourself in. I think last week we managed that really well as a batting group. We didn't give chances. We managed to soak up pressure at times, but ultimately when we got our opportunities to score, we took them. And everyone will have their own techniques and their own way of managing that. It's just, can you do it to the best of your ability? And I was really proud of the way that we managed to do that as a team in Leeds. And the challenge will be, can we repeat that again? It's I suppose that's the art and the fun of the game, is that there's no one right way to bat. It's just, can you find a method that's sustainable and consistent in this format?
Sure.
Thanks, Srinjoy. Last question, Ridian, please.
Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, great. I have one question, that is, India has got a fantastic bench strength, in the sense, they have players like Hanuma Vihari, Mayank Agarwal, Surya Kumar Yadav warming the bench. And one of them might just get a call in the remaining of the test matches. So how prepared are you to tackle somebody like a Hanuma Vihari whom you have not seen enough in the recent past? or even a Surya Kumar Yadav who has not played Test cricket. So how prepared are you to tackle these new guys if they're thrown at you?
Yeah, we'll certainly make sure we can be. We'll look at all the analytical data, and we'll also take into account, the conditions that we'll find ourselves up against, and make sure that we have the right plans in place to counter what they'll throw at us. But ultimately, we're full of confidence. They'll be coming into a series halfway through, which is never an easy thing to do. And we just have to keep applying that pressure as a bowling group and making it very difficult for them to get into the series. So, we'll be confident with that, but we'll be very respectful as well. We know they're, as you mentioned, a fine set of players that you've mentioned there, and all capable of big runs in Test cricket. So we know there's a lot of hard work to do, but we'll be up to the challenge and we'll be ready for that. And I expect a very entertaining Test match once again.
Thank you so much. All the best for the game.
Cheers. Thank you.